Hello, back to Market Avenue. It's first Monday before Christmas, and the stock market is bouncing and gradually, giving more hope to the brokers and consumer, the investors as well. Esther is here.
Yes, rightly said. And the composite index went up by 7.08 points, and that is good news. Just 4 days to the Friday, and we'll be going for the Christmas festivities during the weekend. And the financial stocks also went up by 13.04 points, and that is partly due to ETI. It gained a PESWA. The year-to-date change is 45.18%. And if you invested on the market, in the financial sector, you'll be having a return of 17.23%. In terms of volume, we have it at 226,049, and they were valued at 230,749 Ghana cedis. The market capitalization has gone up and is now 64,142,000,000 cedis. In terms of trading, 2 equities registered price change. One gained, one lost, and one gained a PESWA, the other also lost a PESWA. The gainer for today was ETI. It gained 1 PESWA, and the one that lost was Total. It lost 1 PESWA. So we have one gaining from the financial sector, and we have one losing from the petroleum sector. And the equities that were traded today, exchange hands today, we have them. Bank 60,422. ETI, that was the only gainer for today, 20,000. NTN Ghana, 2,430.
Farmmilk 250.
Yes. Goil 542. We have SIC 97,800. Wow. And General 16,033. The most traded equity was SIC, and it's accounted for 46% of the stocks that exchange hands today.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Esther, for that update from the stock exchange. We'll go for a short break. When we come back, we're going to hook up to Kojo Jan in the UK and Paula Apiakunadu via Zoom. That's the outbreak of COVID-19 in March 2020. But now that the economies were gradually rebounding, another variant by the name Omicron has showed its ugly head and is damping consumer and business sentiment across the globe. Kojo Jan, you're welcome, and Paula Apiakunadu, you're welcome. Hello? Hello? Kojo Jan, you're welcome. Hello? Kojo? All right, let me switch to Paul. Paul, can you hear me? Hello, Paul. Hello, Hello, can you hear me, gentlemen? Hello? Okay, let's go for a break and see how we can handle that technical hitch there. You're welcome, Paul Apia, you're welcome.
Thank you very much for having me this evening.
Great. Now, we've been told that this variant is highly transmissible, but not as deadly as the Delta variant. Now, Kojo, you are in the UK. Give us a picture of how the curbs or the restrictions in the UK is like.
Oh, Bishop, good evening once again. Thank you for having me. Hello, Bishop, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you very well.
Okay. As you said, in the UK, we have what we call the fifth wave, which is this COVID virus, Omicron, just basically having a havoc in the country. At the moment, we are just on about almost 90,000 cases a day. But as compared to other European countries like Germany and Netherlands, the UK has decided not to bring in any form of restrictions. I think we just have a few new rules respect to putting on masks in public places, and also getting what they call the lateral flow test when you go to any public gatherings, and then just basically making sure that you protect yourself, in how you can. So this is where we are with the UK with respect to the COVID virus. Before Parliament closed for the Christmas, they basically told the country that they don't want to spoil anyone's Christmas plans, or they will not bring in any form of restrictions. And so it's yet to be seen how this will play out in the next week or so, respect to if there's going to be any national lockdown or there's going to be any further restrictions for the UK.
All right. Now, Paul, we've heard about some European countries going on lockdown: Belgium, Germany, Netherlands, Switzerland. You were supposed to travel to Italy. How is this affecting your travel?
Well, with respect to as I said,
I wanted Paul. I was talking to Paul.
Oh, okay, Paul.
No. Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, Paul, I was asking that we've seen countries like Germany, Netherlands, Italy, they are on lockdown now. You were supposed to travel to Italy. How are these restrictions affecting your travel plan?
Yeah, I think at this point where Ghana is trying to recover from COVID-19, we expected that some of the restrictions would rather be eased, so that individuals like me who are supposed to travel for important activities outside of Ghana would have the opportunity to go. But it's quite unfortunate that at this time we are having mandatory vaccination for travelers in Ghana. And we should appreciate the fact that worldwide, 46.6% have been fully vaccinated. What this means is that 44.4% of people in the world have not been vaccinated for various reasons. In Africa, we have 77 million people fully vaccinated, and that is just about 6% of African population. In Ghana, we have 5% being vaccinated. That means about 95% of Ghanaians, including me, have not been vaccinated. So if we are implementing mandatory vaccination, what it means is that we are pushing these numbers from moving across our borders or through Kotoka, and that can have serious implications on tourist revenues as well as trade. For instance, looking at AFTA, we started the implementation from January 1st, 2021, and if you look at the statistics, only 6% of Africans are vaccinated. So we have 94% unvaccinated, and among the unvaccinated, we have people who want to do business with Ghana within the framework of AFTA. And if we are now implementing mandatory vaccination, what it means is that we are cutting off most of these people who would have loved to do business with Ghana. So clearly it's going to affect trade and economic activity in general, just as it has affected me in terms of restricting me from moving out of Ghana now. I think many other people have been affected, and it's going to affect the economy of many individuals as well as the overall economy of Ghana.
All right. Back to Kojo. Kojo, if you look at the global economy, the OECD says that 2021 growth is projected at 5.6, but it's likely to dip to 4.5 2022 because of this Omicron variant. Now, let's look at how it's going to pan out in terms of inflation.
Bishop, can you please?
I'm asking questions about. I'm asking a question about inflation because
okay,
the COVID-19 has caused inflation to surge to its highest, even in the UK, about 30 years now. Now, with this new variant, how is this going to affect inflationary pressures or push inflationary pressures on consumers' activities in the UK and across the world?
As you know, Paul said earlier on, this new variant is basically going to make trade very difficult. The value chains are going to be affected. I mean, for instance, if you are a Ghanaian company and you are doing business with any Dutch firm, or you are exporting or importing, then your products might not come in when you expect it because the Netherlands are on a national lockdown. In the UK, when you look at the UK economy in general, we recently had interest rates, rising as well. When you look at the airline industry and the hotel chains, investors are basically selling their shares because they know that in the long term, these industries are going to be affected because it was very evident during last year how these industries got affected. The oil prices have slumped by roughly about $10 per barrel. So these are the kind of things that will in the long run push inflation up because there's going to be, as we discussed during the summer, when there was an issue with the transportation of goods and services within the UK, we found out how it affected so many products. Prices have risen, and these prices will never come down again. And with Omicron, expected to even wreak more havoc within the economy because the UK at the moment, you can't even travel to Germany if you live in the UK. And so this is how all these things will come together to, in the end, bring about inflation rises within all economies around the world. And Ghana is no exception.
All right. Now, Paul, let's look at the issue of jobs. Because jobs are likely to be hit if we're not seeing, we're seeing restrictions from one country to another, and trade supply chains are going to be disrupted.
Sure. With the issue of jobs, let me start from the hospitality industry. We know that the hospitality industry was one industry that was seriously hit when COVID started. And now with the mandatory COVID vaccination, what it means is that even Ghanaians, unvaccinated Ghanaians that wanted to come in for Christmas are now being restricted from coming. Personally, I know some people in the UK, in Italy, and other places who would have loved to come for Christmas. Some had booked their tickets already, but because of the new COVID regulation, they cannot come in. And today we have seen videos of people being forced to vaccinate at the airport, at the Kotoka International Airport, even against the point that some people are even being tied and all that. So clearly that is going to affect people coming in for Christmas and tourists who have loved to come and spend the Christmas period in Ghana. And what it means is that the hotel and hospitality industry in general is going to suffer in terms of demand. And that indirectly will also affect jobs. Then I also spoke about the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement, which has been in implementation since January 1st, 2021. But we have not seen much of these COVID restrictions and the fact that African countries decided to close their borders even at the time when we were implementing after. We are encouraging trade across our borders as African countries. At the same time, we have locked up our borders. We are being told from January 2022 the borders are going to be opened. But just as the borders are being opened, for Ghana, we have also decided to impose another serious restriction, and that is a mandatory COVID vaccination before people can enter or leave the shores of Ghana. So what this means is that the 94% of Africans who would love to do business with Ghana, or the 95% of Ghanaians who are unvaccinated and would want to trade with other African countries, be able to travel out. And that will have implications on by the SMEs and even some of the big businesses. We are also being told that some of the big businesses are also adapting the mandatory COVID vaccination. What this means is that some people may also lose their jobs if they decide not to accept vaccination. So seriously, this new regulation will have a significant impact on job creation and also on job losses.
All right. Now back to you, Kojo. 2021, it's almost done. But looking at what's happening in 2022, how are these caps or restrictions going to affect consumer and business sentiment across the globe?
Well, in 2022, I think that the knock-on effect of what is happening now will be felt in 2022. As I indicated, with the UK, there is information that after Christmas, there might be some form of lockdown because the whole of Europe is locking down. So when this happens, as indicated, there will be job losses, there will be value chain issues, and then basically any industry that relies on the movement of people from one place to the other will be affected. So you're talking about the airlines, the hospitality sector will be affected. In terms of inflation, we expect food prices to also be affected, and then of course the interest rates, depending on how this affects every industry. We expect interest rates to either go up to be able to fit into what is happening around the world. I mean, job losses is a given, because if the hospitality industry and the value chains are not working as expected, and we expect that people will have to be laid off, temporarily laying off of people. In the UK, we had what we call the government helping with the furlough scheme. There's talk of maybe the furlough scheme coming up if there's going to be a long-term lockdown, or there's going to be a long-term effect on companies. Then the companies would have to be supported by the government to keep these people still working. And so there's so much unknown. But I mean, the only thing that we are sure of in 2022 is that there's going to be so many changes with respect to this new wave coming up. The only good news for the UK is that more than half of the people are vaccinated. I just got my third booster jab 2 weeks ago, and so that is one of the reasons why the government is very positive that there might not be a serious effect like before. But whatever happens, we all know people who have been contracted the virus, and it is still going to have a knock-on effect on productivity in general. So this is
now
I think my view of the
good.
next
Paul,
12 months.
Paul, he talked about on the UK. The OECD indicated about $10 trillion had been spent by government to support SMEs and individuals across the globe when COVID struck. Now, it's likely that governments that have gone on lockdown are going to introduce this kind of a stimulus package or furlough. How is this going to build into the high debt profiles that are being recorded across the globe, and how is that going to affect GDP growth rate?
Sure. For countries like Africa, I think it's economically, it is not a bad idea to borrow to support the economy or small businesses in particular, but it is about the efficiency in the implementation of some of these projects, or how effective we are able to roll them out and to be able to reach out to the target groups. You and I know in the developed world, or in countries like Ghana, when we talk of support schemes or SMEs or business that are certain, sometimes very difficult for the resource. The money may be given to people, friends and family, the members of the political parties in power. So what that means is that the money may not get to people who are supposed to receive them to enhance their businesses, to create opportunities, or to revive their businesses, to create spaces for employment purposes. In advanced countries where there are systems in place, you can expect that indeed there are systems in place to make sure that those who really deserve it. But in our part of the world, or in developing countries, mostly in Africa and other regions, you would expect that the effectiveness of some of these programs will be lacking. And what that means is that we may be borrowing to us without having significant impact on the capacity of the economy.
All right. Now, Kojo, before we wrap up, if you look at what is happening at the moment, for instance, Ghana, we export our cocoa to Netherlands, and we do a lot of trading with the UK as well. If these restrictions are not lifted so soon, and we're seeing that oil prices are dipping, we export oil as a country. How is this going to play out in our revenue generation in 2022?
Well, I mean, if you're a country like Ghana, where you depend so much on exports of these raw materials, and then your best chance is that you hope that that this restrictions don't last longer, because then it's going to have a long-term effect. For instance, the Netherlands are going to be locked down up to about the 15th of next month. So if we are exporting to Netherlands, then basically there's going to be a period where there's not going to be much business being done, and of course that's going to help affect the country's revenue. And I mean, at the moment, the world is holding its breath that this doesn't affect China, because if it affects China, then basically it affects almost everything that is moved around the world. And so if you are Ghana, your hope is that the UK's your hope is that the UK's vaccination program is very successful, because if it stays successful and there are not many casualties, then the UK will remain open for the whole of next year. So it's just a matter of just hoping as a country, if you rely on these exports like Ghana does, that the world doesn't close down. Because if the world closes down and you have perishable goods in your possession, then basically you're basically going to lose a lot of the revenue that comes through exports.
All right, Paul, talking about the impact on Ghana, Switzerland also imports cocoa from us a lot. Switzerland is on lockdown. Most of these countries, even if you want to travel there, you'll be compelled to be in quarantine for about 10 or 7 days. How are these things also going to affect us in terms of business relations with these economies out there?
Yeah, clearly, as a country that exports raw materials, what this means is that demand for the products in Switzerland and also globally indirectly will affect production of chocolates and other products that cocoa is demanded. And when that happens, clearly that will have an implication on the demand for cocoa. So in the long term, as a solution to that problem, I think we should begin to expand our capacity of these materials so that when there is a break in international supply chains, we can be able to minimize the impacts. Assuming less than 3 months, during that period, there wouldn't be any activity in the cocoa value chain. What that means is that we will not be able to sell. And I don't know if you have that storage capacity to be able to keep cocoa for that long. In case we are not able to keep it for that long, what it means is that we may lose out, farmers may lose out, and our economy will be seriously affected.
All right. Thank you very much, Paul and Kojo for your thoughts. We've been talking to Kojo, a financial analyst based in the UK, and Paul Apia Kunedu, who is a lecturer in Ghana here, about how Omicron is going to have a knock-on effect on the global economy, and that will zero in on Ghana. My name is Edward Nyako. God willing, we'll come your way tomorrow. Shalom.